at the end of the day, I feel like part of my job is to, now that my audience has sort of gifted me the opportunity to explore what life's about when you stop chasing shiny things. Because at 22, I got all this money. They gave it to me. Make no mistake about it. The people that listen to the music, they gave me their money. Mm-hmm. And what I learned was, with money, I felt 0% more secure, 0% more comfortable in my own skin, and 0% happier. What up, though? This is Mike Posner, and you're watching me on Livin Large.
Welcome into the podcast, another episode of Livin Large. We're going to get right into it today, guys. A little bit different of an episode. We're going to have a mini concert because we have one of my favorite artists ever, Mike Posner.
Welcome,
you,
sir.
Bro.
Thank you for having me. I love the energy.
What are you going to perform?
I'm going to do this new song, Move On, first.
There you go. Let's get it.
I wish Tracy Chapman was my friend. She would know exactly what to say. Beginnings always hide themselves in ends. At some point I will be okay. I got high when I met you. I got high to forget you. I feel pain, I don't want to, but I have to. Yeah, I have to. If I wanna move on, move on, move on, move on, move on, move on, move on. I went to see some shaman in LA to hear some things I wanted to hear. Yeah, everyone just wants to feel good. Yeah, everyone just wants to disappear. I called up girls that live in my hometown to help fill up the minutes. I lit a match and saged my house down. It didn't make a difference, so I got high when I met you. I got high to forget you. I feel pain, I don't want to, but I have to. Yeah, I have to. If I wanna move on, move on, move on, move on. Thank you.
I love that song.
I never finished the song and got just two distinct claps before.
The first time.
It was always either many claps or none at all.
I thought everyone else was going to clap, and I wasn't sure if you're going to go into the next song.
I wasn't either.
Oh, man. What do you got next?
I'll play one more for you. This is a song I wrote 3 years ago. Actually, no, that's a lie. It was 5 years ago now. And I was in the studio with a buddy of mine named Jake Owen, who's a great country artist. And we were passing the guitar, so I'd play a song that I'd written. I'd pass the guitar to him. He'd play a song he'd written, pass it back, and so on. And I played this old tune of mine, and he looked at me and he goes, "That's a great song. What's it about?" I said, "It's about a girl I had a thing with, and some of it I just made up." You know, and he looked at me, I'll never forget, and he goes, "Why don't you just tell the truth? Why don't you just tell the truth?" And that night I wrote this. It's called I Took a Pill in Ibiza To show Avicii I was cool. And when I finally got sober, felt 10 years older. Oh fuck it, it was something to do. I'm living out in LA. I drive a sports car just to prove I'm a real big baller, cause I made $1 million and I spend it on girls and shoes. You don't wanna be higher like me, never really knowing why you like me. You don't ever wanna step off that roller coaster and be all alone. You don't wanna ride the bus like this, never knowing who to trust like this. You don't wanna be stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on this stage singing. Oh, I know are sad songs, darling. Oh, I know are sad songs, sad songs. I'm just a singer who's about to blow a second shot. I get along with old timers. My name's a reminder of a pop song people forgot. And I can't keep a girl, no, because as soon as the sun comes up, I cut them all loose and work's my excuse. The truth is I can't open up. Now you don't wanna be higher like me, never really knowing why you like me. You don't ever wanna step off that roller coaster and be all alone. And you don't wanna ride the bus like this, never knowing who to trust like this. You don't wanna be stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on this stage singing. Oh, I know are sad songs, darling. No, I know sad songs, sad songs. Oh, I took a plane to my hometown. I brought my pride and my guitar. Well, my friends are all gone, but there's manicured lawns and the people still think I'm a star. I walked around downtown, yeah. I met some fans on Lafayette. They said, Mike, tell us how to make it. We're getting real impatient. I looked them in the eyes and said, you don't want to be higher like me, never really knowing why you like me. You don't ever want to step off that roller coaster and be all alone. You don't want to ride the bus like this, never knowing who to trust like this. You don't want to be stuck up on that stage singing, stuck up on this stage singing. Oh, I know the sad songs, sad songs.
Amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4. We gonna give him all the claps in the world on that one.
Hey, I'm gonna put this over.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being on.
Should I
Bangers
put
right
cans
there.
on?
What's that?
You putting cans on?
Yeah, so I could hear better. Hear that luscious voice right in the ears. So I want to talk about that. So you mentioned that you wrote that song because you wanted to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And Move On, another song very personal to you. Is that something that do you enjoy songwriting so much more now that you had that conversation with Jake Owens, or the old drug dealer girl smoke and drive?
I think I enjoy it about the same amount. I just love making music, man. I think I'm better at it now, just because I've been doing it longer, So, the fun is still the same. Like when you finish a song and it's good, it's just there's no other feeling really like it that I've experienced. I suspect it's something like when a writer finishes the book or something,
Mm-hmm.
they probably have some version of the same feeling. But I have noticed that the song's effect in the world has changed. Whereas early in my career, my songs, I think, were the soundtrack for a lot of people sort of hanging out and partying, which is great. And I guess the remixes of my songs still are kind of like that at times. But now I think more often than not, my songs are become a way for people to look inward and feel something inward. So there's been this shift of outward energy to inward energy, where because I'm exploring inward more in the songs. Yeah.
When you're writing music, do you cater to the audience more or cater to what you want to hear?
Yeah, great question. A woman named Maria Popova said this quote, and it's always helped me in all my albums. And this goes for any artist of any medium, yourself, whether you write books or just anyone who creates anything. Your job is to create the art that you want to exist in the world. Period. That is your job, and there's nothing else to it. So, I don't make what I think you want to hear or my manager wants to hear. Literally, my job is to create what music custom made for me. So my favorite artist is me. You know what I mean? Like, and I should be. You know what I mean? I'm making the stuff, so it should resonate with me the most. And that always has been a quote that's helped me in my albums. It's been a North Star of sorts. So I hope it can be that for others as well.
Absolutely. And you talk about you create music for yourself, right? But a lot of people are actually unaware of the fact that you made Boyfriend for Justin Bieber. You made Sugar for Maroon 5. How does that process work when you're creating a song like Sugar and Boyfriend? You're making it for you, right? But then you hand it off. What is that process like?
Yeah, so I write for an album typically between 50 and 70 songs. Jeez. And obviously an album was only going to be 10 or 15 songs. So some of those songs I just think aren't good at all. And then some of them I think are really good, but they don't fit either where I'm at in my life or what I'm trying to do with my project. And and every once in a while, one of those songs that I'm not using that is good makes sense for where someone else is in their life and a project they're working on. And every once in a while, I know one of those people. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a cool thing when you can contribute something to someone else's career and it touches a lot of people, definitely.
Absolutely. So you grew up in a suburb of Detroit, right?
Yeah, Southfield.
Midwest boy.
Yeah.
Attended Duke.
Like you.
Yeah, boy, I'm from Ohio. Boy.
O-H.
I-O.
O-H.
I-O. But you went to Duke. What made you get into music in the first place?
Wow, man. So I started rapping when I was 8 years old.
Rapping?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I pretty much only did hip-hop until I was 20. I rapped and made beats. I had some older cousins that rapped, and I'm getting a little emotional, but I had two friends, Aaron Webster and Ronnie Posey, and one night we had a sleepover at Ronnie's house, and for whatever reason we had decided we were gonna freestyle that night. None of us had freestyled before, and we had sort of like found CDs that were either ours or our parents that had instrumental songs on them that we could try to rap over. And I remember we went in Ronnie's basement and we all did it. And those guys who are, I'm getting a little emotional because Ronnie actually just passed away about 3 weeks ago. Webb is, and they're still some of my good friends. Webb's still one of my really good friends. And those two guys like had fun and they were kind of like cool. And I remember just thinking, I'm never going to stop that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get really good at that. And that's what I did.
That's really amazing, man. And it's been cool actually for you to open up. And I'm sorry to hear about your friend. You've opened up. You opened in the Move On. You lost a friend. You lost your father. Mm-hmm. What's life like been for you? And I want to talk about your journey now because in that music video, it was a very personal video. And I really appreciate the way you shot it because it was vertical on an iPhone. Like iPhone, very intimate, you know, like you shot it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not many artists are doing that. You know, they have this full production with a Red camera, and that was just like a really personal video, and I feel like it resonated with a lot of people because they could relate to you on a personal level rather than being like this unattainable person, you know what I'm saying? What's making you, because you're in that video you say you're going to walk across America.
Correct.
That's insane.
Yeah.
What's making you want to do that?
Being around that death definitely was a huge catalyst. I feel most of us, upwards of 90%, have a list of things that we want to do in our life when we're done doing what we think we have to do, right? So we just basically putting off the things that are calling to us. And I've wanted to walk across America for years, but always something would come up. Either I need to finish an album or something, and you really need to start a walk across America like now. It's April right now, it's spring, and I'm kind of late honestly because I hurt my foot. But you really need to start in like March because of the way the mountain ranges are and the way the seasons line up. So anyways, I kept missing it, and then really when my friend Avicii died, I was like, man, I'm going on the walk this year. I'm going. But you have an album coming out. You need to cool. I'm going on the walk. This is my life. I'm the only person that needs to be in this body. I'm going on the walk. And that's not to say anyone else should go on the walk, but you should remember that you're going to die. All of us are. And everyone wants you to forget you're going to die. Why? Because if you forget you're going to die, you waste your time working on some company that you don't care about. And then you'll make money and you'll waste it on buying stuff that someone else is selling. That only works if you forget you're going to die. If you remember you're going to die, you'll do what is important to you, and you'll be in touch with the things that are important to you and the people that are important to you, and treating them the right way. So, being around that death helped me live a better life, continues to help me live a better life. And the more I can remember, I say keep death on my shoulder, the more I can make right decisions, I feel.
That's really inspiring because it's a hard thing to do. And I was watching actually an Avicii documentary, and that was something everyone else was like, had so much pressure on him, right? And he's like, felt the pressure of always having to perform, always having to go out there. And then finally he's just like, I'm just going to retire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that a difficult decision for you to make, to put this life on hold? But you're living your life, but you're putting this life that everyone wants you to live on hold.
I don't even think of it as putting it on hold. I'd think of it more as like going into a different direction, just to use a different metaphor. For me, I feel like I'm walking in a different direction. I'm 31 years old, and about 6 months ago, I started looking at my lifestyle, and I said, does my lifestyle match who I am now? And at the time, the answer was really no. I had the lifestyle that I really like, the 22-year-old version of me, which was like going around the world, like doing whatever I could to get more famous and get hit songs, this kind of thing. It just didn't match who I am now, what I care about now. So I just needed to make my lifestyle reflect who I am. And there's a lot of things that, like, I have more ideas and more things I want to do than fit in one life, probably. So I just, I'm very curious and enthusiastic, and I want to try all these different things. A lot of them have to do with music. A lot of them have nothing to do with music. And I want my life to read like a novel. I want my Wikipedia page to be like, a Virginia Woolf book. I think most people's lives end up reading like instruction manuals. It's like step 1, go to college. Step 2, get job. Step 3, have kids. Step 4, teach kid to do same thing, repeat over, right? And like that's cool. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's not what I want. I want my life to be like a movie, you know? And so this is just one chapter I want in my book.
Is that something, because me being from the Midwest, you being from the Midwest, coming out here in Los Angeles and living this, do you feel like you got caught up in a lifestyle that you kind of lost your roots, if you will, of humble Detroit kid?
Totally. I was thinking about that earlier today, man, because growing up, was really into, at the time they would call it like a sub niche of hip hop called backpack rap. It's like my favorite rappers were the rappers that did not wear gold chains or platinum chains at the time, like did not have, you know, scantily clad women in their videos. Like those were my guys, were like Mos Def and Talib Kweli and The Roots and Outkast. And then fast forward, I'm age 23, and like I had like the cool, like the Louis Vuitton belt and like sagging my pants and all these gold chains on and a diamond earring. And it's like, what you became like the stuff that you didn't like when you were a kid. And so yeah, I think I definitely got, when I was younger, got swept up into thinking that the universe is sort of revolved around me, and the most important thing was me and me being liked by other people.
When did you come to the realization that that's not what you wanted to do?
When I failed.
Okay.
My first hit song was a song called Cooler Than Me, and it was my first single I ever put out. So
was that not on the mixtape, the first mixtape?
It was on the first mixtape.
Right, and then the remix.
The remix, I did a record deal, and the first song we put out as a single was Cooler Than Me, and it went huge.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like 23, 24 at the time, something like that. And I'm parading around the world. I'm taking my shirt off at shows and making more money than a 24-year-old should make. And I thought, oh, this is what I'm one for one.
Right,
and
right.
This will always happen whenever I put a song out. So my next single was a song called Please Don't Go. I would also say it was a hit song, but
I love that song.
It wasn't as big a hit. So it was kind of viewed like as a failure internally on my team.
On your team?
Yeah, and like at my label.
Were you happy with it though?
I was happy when I made it. And this is something I learned later too, is that the reward for making music is when you make it.
Right.
And then it's done. And whatever happens after is a byproduct. Some of the things are nice byproducts, money and attention. Cool. Those are good things. They feel good, but they're byproducts. And don't ever forget that. And so yeah, and then basically I kept putting songs out, and each one was a little less popular than the one before, until finally a few years later, like my career was kind of just like ground to a halt. I was what people called a one-hit wonder, which really I sort of was. I had like literally nothing on my calendar, nothing to do, no shows, nothing. And I was what in the music industry they call it shelved, which means that the label can't justify really spending any more money to market you or whatever. So they're just not going to put your stuff out. So I'm just basically sitting there. And I remember being at my house. And I was like, okay, man, I have $2 million and nothing to do. My career is like ice cold. What do I want to do? And I had this realization that I still love music. I still love to make it, regardless of if I'm Mr. Popular or not. It's still something I want to do. So I have this time. Let me get better at making music. So that's when you asked me earlier when I started playing guitar. That's when I started playing guitar. That's when I started taking voice lessons, and that's when I started learning piano. Then I didn't play any instruments before, even though I was successful in it. So I didn't consider myself good or a musician really. So that's when I learned, and then I wrote the song I played earlier. I Took a Pill in Ibiza, which was about that, which was about my career grinding to a halt.
When you say your career grinded to a halt, had you written Boyfriend yet or Sugar?
I wrote Boyfriend and Sugar in that dark period.
Okay.
So it was interesting because around here in LA, I was viewed as a songwriter. Okay. So people would call me to write for their albums, but no one cared about my music to put out. To me, I was an artist, you know. So yeah, the Sugar and Boyfriend sort of came in that time. And then yeah, when I wrote Ibiza, which is kind of like just impossibly ironic because it's about blowing your shot.
Yeah, yeah.
And the writing of that was another shot. You know?
Yeah.
So that was sort of the trajectory I was on.
That's really, wow. That's insane. Do you think, and you say not in the remix, I think the second verse isn't in the remix, right? Like
the third verse.
Or the third verse, going back to your hometown.
Yep.
Your home, you talk about your hometown, like you're a star all the time, because I watched an interview with you. There's peaks and valleys in this career, right?
Yeah.
And you say, even in the valleys in my hometown, I'm like still at a peak. Do you enjoy going back to your hometown? Is there like a mural there of Mike Posner?
With the first part of your question, yes, I love going back to my hometown. My mom lives there, and some of my best friends in the world live there. And it smells different there, as I don't know if you've noticed this, but
oh yeah,
there's different types of trees, and there's more trees, as you know, and so it smells way different, and the birds are actually a lot different, which I know it sounds like a silly thing to say, but growing up, I don't even remember this, but my mom always tells this story of that when I was a baby, I would go, or maybe a toddler, 2-3 years old, I'd be in the backyard and the birds would chirp. I'd try to sing the melody back to them. So I really think that the melodies, those birds, and they sing the same melody of
right.
It's like the same thing every day, every year. I think they have a lot to do with the melodies that I write in my songs, because they're sort of like hammered in there.
I've never heard anybody say that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the birds here have totally different songs.
Yeah.
Which I hear, but they're less like in my DNA than I think probably the ones in Michigan. And what was the second part of your question? Do I like going home? And
is there a mural?
I'm not sure if there's still a mural. There used to be a big mural of Big Sean, and
you guys grew up in the same neck of the woods, because you both went.
Sean and I, he's from Detroit also, and we met when we were 18.
And you guys did Smoke and Drive. Was that your first song together?
It was our first song together. We both sang on, I believe. I had done a few beats for him before that.
Okay.
But yeah, I met him when I was 18. A lot of people don't know. I was basically like in his entourage for several years. I did beats for him, sang hooks. And when I did my first mixtape that you heard, he gave me 3 verses. One on Cooler Than Me, one on Who Knows, and one on Smoke and Drive. And that really like kind of helped start my career. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
Shout out Big Sean.
Yeah. And anyway, so yeah, there used to be this mural that someone did of Sean. And then like the side of the mural, they did like some of the rest of our crew. And they did me. I was much smaller than Sean in the mural. But
you still made it onto the mural.
I'm not sure if the mural's still there. It used to be on Dexter and Waverly.
If you guys are in Michigan, go to Dexter and Waverly. Let us know if the mural's still there. When you talk about, so you were on top of the world, right, with Cooler Than Me, and your ego was pretty high, yeah, at that time. Did you feel when you said you started to learn guitar, you started to learn piano, you started to learn all these instruments, did you have to like humble yourself in a way? And did you feel like when you were at Duke or when you were first starting off, do you feel like you worked harder then than you had been after your hit? And you had to like regain that like drive, you know what I'm saying? Since you had the $1 million, you had the car, you had the girls, you had the shoes. Did you have to refine like the passion? Or did you lose the passion?
That's interesting. I think inspiration is different than drive. I would say it probably got more driven when I had the first success, which means like, yeah, you know, you're just kind of like gearing yourself up to go do it and like buck up, you know. And inspiration is different. It comes from within, and it doesn't feel like work. So the drive, it feels like work. Mm-hmm. Like I gotta work hard. Oh, I did a bunch of work. Let me do even more work. Inspiration, I feel like it just goes. And so I think I had to rediscover the inspiration, and it was great to be a beginner again. I still am a beginner at many facets of music. And I remember taking a class. I took an online class for Berklee School of Music, a singing class, and everyone, the way it worked was you'd post there'd be assignments. You'd have to sing a song. It'd be a assigned song, and you have
online.
And then you have to turn it in and post it basically. And they're real teachers, real students all over the world. And then you could hear everyone's songs, and you could give you feedback and stuff. And I just remember like thinking, I'm definitely the worst person in this class,
Why?
Because I was. It was
vocally, you're saying?
Yeah, it was just a bunch of great singers in that class, So, it was it was humbling for sure. But I think I rediscovered the passion and inspiration.
What do you think contributes to your success? Because if you say you're in a class with a bunch of students who are better at singing than you, why are you so much more successful than those students? What defines success
if we're talking about success as like if we're defining it as like popularity, because I probably was the most popular artist in that class by a long shot. I think it's my writing for sure. When I did Cooler Than Me, I had just started singing like a month before. You know what I mean? I was a rapper, like I told you my whole. So it's not like I'm hitting any crazy runs. I'm gonna win American Idol or anything like that. But there's no other writer like me in the world. I'm not saying I'm the best writer, but I'm the only one like me, and I'm very careful what I listen to, and because it all sort of gets into my writing. So there's different writers that I listen to. A lot of them are dead, and I put that into my writing, and that's why I think that I've been able to change genres a lot to explore different styles. But if you listen to the voice and when I say voice, I don't mean the sound of my voice, I mean the voice like of the writer. It's me. It's my own thing.
But I think, because I remember listening to your first mixtape, and the reason I liked you is because you sounded different, and your songwriting's amazing. But I also thought that no one else sounded like you in the sense that you had a very like now you mean raspy, airy voice,
definitely.
Which was never.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like my voice, man, for sure. I think I'm a good singer.
Don't discredit yourself.
No, I don't think I'm a bad singer. I'm a strong singer. And you're right. I think one of the things that actually bring up a good point. And they actually talk about this in class. If you have your own voice, one of the things I think I have going for me, despite not doing any Mariah Carey stuff, if you hear me singing one line of a song, you can tell that's me. Mm-hmm. That's him. And there's a lot, there's most of the big artists in the world, it's like that. That's their voice. I think a lot of other people in that class, they could do all the runs and stuff, but they didn't have that thing. Like Louis Armstrong, right? It's like he wasn't hitting crazy notes, but he had that voice. Mm-hmm. You hear it. That's him. That's Louis Armstrong. I think I got that going for me.
Yeah, that's really awesome. What advice would you give to those people in your class that they have these amazing voices? How do you distinguish yourself from other people?
I don't know. I think you gotta go back to that first thing of you gotta make the stuff that you want to exist in the world, and everyone has different colors on their palette. Like when I first started, I had this raspy voice. I couldn't hit a lot of notes. I can hit way more notes than I practice, and I had, my laptop, I make beats. Those are the colors on my palette. Learn how to make a good painting with those colors. And you just got to figure out how to use your colors to make the painting that you want to exist.
Do you feel, because we talked about inspiration earlier and you refinding that inspiration, let's talk more about this walk across America. Is that something you're doing to get inspired, to hear some birds from South Dakota so you can get some melodies? Is this something that you're doing to gain inspiration, or is this something you're doing just because you have a goal in mind and you want to accomplish that goal?
There's a lot of reasons I'm going on the walk. Both of those are certainly valid. I look forward to hopefully leaving each place I go a little better than it was when I got there, whether that means just listening to somebody or sharing a song with somebody. I want to go on an adventure, A lot of adventures don't show up after you turn 30 years old or any age. What I mean? It's like But especially after you've achieved some sort of success, there's a tendency to sort of just build walls around the success that you've earned and guard it. So I want to go on an adventure, a real life adventure, you know. That's definitely part of it.
What are you taking with you?
Well, fortunately for me, I have a support vehicle. Most of the people, 95% of the people that walk across America, and there's already not that many, but other people do it. 95% of them push a cart the entire way. And I'll do that for some of it. But for the majority of my walk, I have a wonderful man named Colin McAndrews, and we have an RV. So basically the RV will go ahead of me each day, and I'll walk each day. I'll catch up to it. I can sleep on it, and then I'll go back to where I left off and keep going. So that enables me to bring a lot more stuff.
Right.
Than
you have like a full studio on the RV?
I definitely want a full studio, but we're going to try to put something in there, a little recording thing, and I'll have my guitar, a lot of socks, silk liner socks are really important.
Your Nalgene bottle?
I had 2 of these big boys.
There you go.
Magnum Nalgene bottle. What else? Umbrella, not for the rain, for the sun, actually, because in the summer it's going to be no joke. Sunscreen, hat, man, all the like sort of, I'm REI'd out, you know.
Are you going to be listening to music? And if so, what are some artists you enjoy listening to for inspiration?
So I try not to listen to whoever has like the hottest song right now. Instead, I listen to what history says and what history has deemed the greatest albums of all time. Okay. So I have Rolling Stone magazine has a list of 500 greatest albums of all time, and I have them all downloaded for offline play. And I've probably listened to about 80 of those so far, but there's just so much great like music that, you know, there's Rolling Stones albums that I haven't heard yet. So I just want to hit all those on my walk.
You have a lot of time to do it. So you said it's going to take you a year to walk across, roughly.
Yeah, I see. The shortest amount of time I could see it possibly taking is 6 months.
Okay.
But I'll be more proud of myself if I take 12, because I'm really competitive, and my mind will try to make it to a race. But it's not a race. When you ask why I was doing it, I didn't say to get across as fast as I can. Yeah. That's not my goal. But my mind will try to make that a goal. So I'll actually be more proud of myself if I take 12 months instead of 6. Because I took my time.
Right. Are you gonna have like a budget per day? Anything like? Are you setting any restrictions, or are you just going? Like, are you like, I'm only spending $40 on a day or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you gonna have any obstacles you have to overcome?
Nah. I think the walking across America is a big enough obstacle for me. I'm definitely gonna like try to eat as healthy, and I'm gonna have to eat a lot more than usual. Right. So I'm really into listening, man. And I met a guy named Ram Dass, who's a spiritual teacher, maybe like 5 years ago. And when I met him, he was so present with me and my friends that we left the meeting, we left his house, and we all like start crying. And I couldn't figure out how this dude, just by like sitting, he's an old man, he had a stroke, and it's part of his body doesn't work. He just looked at you with these big eyes. You could tell he's not thinking about what he had for lunch. He's just there with you fully. And so I thought, how did that happen? Like, and it changed my life, because I thought if he just by being him, this is someone who's done like the meditation work for 50 years or whatever, if he can make me feel this way, cut through the BS of my life and put me more in touch with capital R reality just by being, then I want to be like that for other people. And what do I have to do that's more important than being like that? So that's like one of the main goals, or actually I'll call it mission. You know, missions, I think I learned this from Jay Shetty. You have goals in your life, like walking across America is a goal, but more important than your goals are your mission. A mission is like a direction, like north. You don't ever get to north. You don't ever finish with a mission. So let me give you an example. My mission is threefold. It's to enjoy my life, help others enjoy theirs. 2, be as kind as I can to people along the way. And 3, help others experience transcendence. That's my mission. And all my goals should be in line with that mission. So like walking across America is one of those goals, you know. Anytime I make a song, hopefully it achieves those things, you know. So when I say experience transcendence, my third part of my mission, I mean being in a way that can cut through the sort of BS of normal life and like put you in touch with what really matters, put you in touch with your love for the people you love, put you in touch with your pain and your sadness. That's like the most important thing to me on the walk and in my life, you know.
How does your family respond? Is your mom worried about you?
Yeah, definitely. My mom said, quote, I think she said, sounds pretty weird. And I said, that's 100% correct. It's definitely weird. It's one of the reasons I want to do it is most people wouldn't do it, you know. It's part of it for me, you know. I was in the gym the other day in LA and I saw all the people on the treadmills and were all staring at their screens. Mm-hmm. And they just looked to me like hamsters running on wheels. Yeah. And I just knew right then, like, you know, I already made the decision, but I was reaffirmed, like, I'm not going to be a hamster on a wheel. Like, I'm going on the walk. Like, all you people can go that way, but I'm going to go this way. And it's fine. You can do your thing, but.
That's really funny that you said that because when I walk on the treadmill, I turn the TV off. It like turns on automatically. I turn it off and I listen to my music because I feel like the gym for me is like a therapy session and like listening to music and listening to like the words that people have to say. And like you describe how songwriting, for example, the songs you've written for other people, you aren't feeling that at that moment, but someone else is. It's cool to like listen to music while you're working out and like feel an emotion and hear the same emotion projected through a song and like really realize that you're not the only person going through this. You know what I'm saying? Like even for me, I went through a breakup and I listened to Move On. I'm like, wow. Even Mike Posner gets broken up with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, he does.
Yes,
he does.
Is that something you wouldn't have done early on in your career, is open up about personal stuff? And do you feel more connected now that you have?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the earlier music and how sort of open it was. I don't think I was being purposely guarded earlier. Mm-hmm. I just think I've done more. I've just looked more at myself, you know.
And you've experienced more life.
More life. I've done a lot of meditation. I meditate twice a day, every day for I think 6 years now.
And what does that look like? Because you always hear the word meditation, right? And you're like you think like person sitting cross-legged with their hands up. Totally. Is that what that looks like?
The flavor of meditation that I typically do is called TM. It stands for Transcendental Meditation. And if anyone's interested, they go to tm.org. I am not affiliated with I don't get any money for saying that. It's just something that's helped my life. So, and I've sent so many friends there that I know the website. So in that sort of flavor of meditation, there are many different kinds. You sit just with your spine erect, meaning like straight, and your head unsupported. So you can totally be in a chair like your buddy's in a chair over there. As long as your head isn't that, because you're not going to sleep. And then you can sort of just sit comfortably. There's no sort of hand thing with it. Yeah. And TM is mantra-based, so you're given a mantra that's just for you, keep it to yourself. And it's basically like a sound that doesn't mean anything. And you repeat that sound internally. And you sort of can fall into these very beautiful trance states, and sometimes not. and then inevitably, this is a big like myth I think about meditation, is that in every sit that I've ever done, I always have thoughts. At some point in the meditation, usually like within the first 10 seconds,
Right.
like my mind goes off, and that's part of meditating. And then at some point, I'll realize that my mind has gone off, and I'll remember, hey, I'm meditating right now. And that is not a moment of failure. That's actually a moment of success. And you just sort of gently, very softly go back to your mantra. And a lot of other flavors of meditation will use the breath instead of a mantra. And, then when it's sort of like flexing a muscle. Then when you're in your life, I don't know if you're like me, but dude, my mind can go crazy and go super negative. Like I'll be driving and I'm thinking about a turn, and then all of a sudden I'm like visualizing messing that turn up and the car flipping, and I'm in the hospital, and like within like 10 seconds, I'm in this very dark place in my head. And the meditation sort of gives you a muscle to go, hold on, easy. We don't need to go there.
Yeah. Control of your thoughts.
Yeah. Which is, I think is, dude, it's so important. I'm a really big believer in that you get what you think about, It's
really interesting because I was in Atlanta a few weeks ago with Will Smith, and I was talking to him, and I never realized how popular meditation is. And I feel like it's really popular in the creative world. Like a lot of creatives meditate, and he told me the same thing. Because I said the same thing. I'm like, man, I'm raised in Ohio. He was raised in Philly. You're raised in Detroit. If someone would come up to me and say they're meditating, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, think about it like this. You sit and you just think about, you just let your thoughts go. And he's like, we're the only species that has thoughts about our thoughts. And it's like really crazy.
So far as we know.
Because like you could think like, oh, I'm taking a right turn, and I can go, like you're having that thought of like going to the hospital. But then you can think of like, why did I think about that thought? You know what I'm saying? And
you can think about thinking and thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who turned you on to it? Because one doesn't just like say, hey, I'm going to start meditating, you know? You have to hear about it, I feel like. Was it the guy that you said you left his house starting crying, the guy that had the stroke?
No, I actually had already been meditating for a while when I met him. It was really Big Sean, indirectly. Big Sean is a meditator as well. But as I mentioned earlier, we've been working together since I was 18, and when we were about 24, 25, he invited me to the studio in LA, and I got there, and it was like it's the same sort of feeling as with that guy, though I would say less intense, but like just with, sometimes you get around people and you just feel really good, just by being around them. There's something about them, I don't know what it is, that makes you feel good. And even like after I went home that day, like I wasn't with Sean anymore, I just felt really good. And his career, like after being very stagnant for a number of years, was skyrocketing as well. So like I called him, I was like what's going on with you, man? Like share the secret here.
Yeah.
And like you seem like very content, happy, like everyone around you're making feel better, and also like your career is doing very well. You seem like pretty aligned. So he recommended I read these two books. One was The Alchemist, and the next one was Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And there was an introduction in that book by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's from Detroit. Rest in peace. And one of the quotes from his introduction was, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I remember reading that and going, whoa. And so I started YouTubing Wayne Dyer, and then he actually had some guided meditations, and then I started doing those, and then from there I stumbled on TM, and since then I've done a Vipassana retreat, which is another type of meditation, and I've also spent some time in solitude. Last summer I spent 12 days like totally alone, where I just didn't have any human contact or see another person, for obviously no phone or like computer or anything like that for 12 days. It was pretty deep experience. Yeah, it was amazing. I'm just like, I'm very curious, sometimes after I sit for 20 minutes, I will feel totally content. Like I don't want or need anything. I'm good. And so I'm just curious, like, well, what would happen if I did that way more? Like,
right.
Like, how does a monk feel? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's very interesting to me.
So you talk about sitting in solitude. You talk about you don't want to be a hamster on the wheel. While you're walking across America, is this something you're going to document and share with the world? Or is this something you're totally going to just do?
I'll definitely be using social media on my walk, partly to document, but also partly to and maybe mostly to connect with people. So I'll be posting at times there like, hey, I'm gonna be in this park and I'm gonna be playing at 7 p.m. Come, it's free. And I call those ninja shows. I've done a lot of those in my life, and they're one of my favorite ways to play because it's just very pure. There's no money exchanges hands. You don't have to buy a ticket or anything, and it's just me giving a gift, and it feels really good for me to do that without like some ulterior motive of like I'm gonna get a bunch of money for this or something. So I'll definitely be using it to connect with people in that way, and then share what I learn. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like part of my job is to, you know, now that my audience has sort of gifted me the opportunity to explore what life's about when you stop chasing shiny things. Because at 22, you know, I got all this money. They gave it to me. Make no mistake about it. The people that listen to the music, they gave me their money. And what I learned was, you know, with money, I felt 0% more secure, 0% more comfortable in my own skin, and 0% happier. So I knew that's not what life's about. So then the question is, what is? So now I feel my job is to go ask what is, go try these wild things, go spend that time in solitude, go walk across America and report back what I learned. So if I'm doing social media well, I'll be using it, to connect and to report back what I learned.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate you opening up on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And guys, you can check him out. Follow him. I'll link all of his stuff down below. His new hit, Move On, is going to be down there. Check out the video. I highly recommend it. And then another personal favorite video that he's done is Be As You Are. Sends a really good message. Me being a video guy, I really appreciate those. So, guys, check him out. Follow him. Maybe he'll come through your town. You guys can hear him play under a nice tree, you know, sipping on his Nalgene water bottle.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Livin' Large.
Peace.
Deuces, guys.